Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a corselet. Now these are lightly boned structures usually found on the inside of couture garments. They closely resemble their cousin the corset, only they're not quite as strong and they're more intended to be worn against the skin. Personally, I like to add them to some of my gowns to give them some more structure, so I'm going to show you guys how to make one today. To start, we are going to use a pre-made pattern and we are going to be cutting it out of this very soft, very strong corset mesh that I have. This particular pattern has cups as well, but they are not done by the traditional cup sizing. They are done by depth. So you really want to make sure and pay attention to that when you cut out the sizes that you may need. This also means it's more versatile and has more size options for half cups and larger bust cups as well. As with any corset pattern, none of this has seam allowance, so you're going to want to account for however much you may need when you cut your pieces out. I am using the standard 1/2 inch seam allowance. Here you can see all of my pieces cut out. I have both of my cups up there and I have all 7 pieces doubled over for 14 pieces in total for this corselet. Before we can bring it to the sewing machine, I am marking where my waist tape will go. This is a piece of twill tape about 1 inch wide, and this is what gives you that very cinched 1950s Dior classic look. Like the bustier video I did, we are also stitching these wrong sides together because the wrong side of the fabric is going to go against your skin, and you really don't want to have your seam allowance touching against you, rubbing you and making you really uncomfortable. Right after I filmed this portion, my camera died, but the next step I took is I clipped my seams really close to the stitch line, and then I pressed and ironed everything flat, so when I add my boning channels, it'll look nice and clean. You are going to want to follow the same advice for the cups and make sure that you follow along the curve like I am showing you here. The little piece is for the inside of the cup and the big piece goes on the outside, and this piece goes over the top of the whole thing. Here you can see the boning channel that I made out of some bias tape. I am just putting it along the center seam on the lower portion of the cup, and then I am stitching down both sides because in the middle then you will have the space to put in your bones. You are then going to repeat that whole process for the rest of the garment, making sure you leave enough space for whatever boning material you are using. The next step is to attach your cups. This is still tricky, even for me, it took a couple tries. You are also going to want to put your boning into your cup before attaching it to the rest of the garment, because otherwise there's no way to really get that in there. I use Ridgeline boning in the cups. It's not quite as strong as the plastic that I will be using in the rest of the garment, but this is just really to help give it that shape and hold up on its own. Obviously, if you're bigger busted, you will still need to wear a bra underneath this, but if you aren't, this will be plenty of support for you to wear in your dress. When the garment is completely sewn together, this is what she should look like, and now it is time to add the bones. I am using plastic boning, or as you guys know, industrial zip ties. This is a perfect application for them because this is only for light boning use, and because it's going into a couture garment, you never have to worry about it going through the wash. Here you can see I am measuring it out and then cutting 1 inch off the bottom because I need to leave a 1/2 inch for binding on the top and a 1/2 inch for binding on the bottom. After everything is in, you are then going to add your binding along the bottom. I am stitching it right side down, and then I'm going to flip it over and give it a nice top stitch. The grommets are the final part of this, and lucky for us, the pattern includes a guide to do your grommets, so you're just going to lay that down and trace over where all of those are going to go. I used an industrial press to put my grommets in, but you can also do it by hand. Once that's done, it is time to lace it up. There are plenty of great tutorials out there on how to lace it. I'm using the bunny ear method, and then it is time to put it on our mannequin and see what we've made. The final step, of course, is to install it in whatever dress you've made, but here she is. She came out great, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and until next time, bye!